You guys ready to do a little shopping?
What are we shopping for?
Weapons of mass destruction. Hey, how you doing? You guys get any stuff that makes a loud noise when it hits somebody in the head? Oh! I think Curly got one of these. That'll do. What else do we have here in this fine establishment? Perfect fit. Made to order.
I need a price on change for these.
And I had to get it because look, it just fits right. I'm a trained professional, don't worry.
It's gone! He's my icon! Who's the
The original Nautilene Son, we're located on Belmont Avenue on the north side of Chicago. We're a neighborhood store. I'm a third-generation owner, so we're very family-oriented. And we have a lot of neighborhood people come in our store, so we see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of very interesting people that come in. But that makes it great. I love the characters. I mean, I'm the owner, and I'm one of the biggest ones. We make Italian sausage. We got a family-owned deli up in front. We've been in business since 1947, so that makes it 60 plus years. My grandfather started the business with my father, and my father took it from him, and my father retired in 1989, and I had worked here since I was a kid and took it over in 1989. I've been running it ever since. And I'm a husband, and I have one son. His name is Dante. He's 4 years old. I know how people make sausage. I know what cuts they use, and that's why I've never eaten a piece of sausage from anywhere else. Even under the influence of alcohol, I refuse. All of our customers are pretty much repeat customers, and the new customers have been told, you know, hey, you got to check this place out. So,
Natalie's, dumb place to go for Italian sausage.
I've probably been coming here to 15, 17 years.
You have to come in just for the atmosphere, not even for the food, the atmosphere of being here. And the smell as soon as you walk in the door, that wonderful garlic.
And you get to know all the girls, and George always is very cordial and says hello and kicks anyone out of my table if I'm sitting here, except his family. Family, that they override it.
Well, my favorite things there, first of all, is their Italian sausage. You put it on the barbecue, it's the best around.
wow. It's kind of the Polish national anthem.
I know.
Pretty much, I'm the only family member that's here. My father used to work here, my mother, my brother at a time. But right now, mostly neighborhood people from around here. I've had a couple workers here that have been here 20 plus years, 2 people, and other people have been here anywhere from 6 months to like I said, 20 plus years.
Around here, everybody knows raucous sausage. They come and get a great sub or meatball or pizza, you know, it's not just sausage.
Yeah, I do most of the backroom work, but if you come in and you want me to sing you a song, I'll be happy to accommodate you. Let's see, what is it?
What's your
That
best?
old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic that you weave so well. Those icy fingers up and down my spine. That same old voodoo when your eyes.
I came here to work just for a little while, and I get to be 25 years.
I don't believe it!
I love people. I love to talk to people. We see people that are like small, and they grow up, they get married, and they have their own kids, and now they're sending their kids shopping.
Here we are, at the world-famous Nautilus and Sons.
He wants two. Oh! See it in the garage. Uh-oh. Scrooge just went out here.
Would you like a piece?
Let me get out of here.
George, if we don't have sausage at 2 o'clock this afternoon, you're in trouble.
Hey, I'm the cameraman. And here's missing my fuse.
You gotta bring that over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Here's the star of our new feature film.
Does he like to do this?
Sing for us, will you? Sing.
Enchanted evening.
He's like a kid.
You know what I think of this guy? He's my dad when he was a professional wrestler.
Get a good close-up of that.
As we close this 4th of July, 1988, we say...
We don't know if we're going to be here for 1989.
We don't know if we'll be here for July 5th.
Yeah. There's Stinky Joe the barber.
I mean, I was working here from the time I was 10 years old, so it's pretty much something I always did. So after college, came back and was working with my dad, because that's, you know, what I did. Before I knew it, I was 25, 26 years old, and I said, well, it looks like I'm going to be doing this. So we actually did pass the torch, officially. We've been with the same bank, you know, for years and years. They switched ownership, and they were doing family portraits. All of those calls. We were going to do a family portrait, so I thought, you know what? Portrait, that'd be kind of a good idea. So, and I went to the bank, and when I walked in, they were like, when I had a sausage stick with a pig tied to it. And they said, what are you here for? I said, I'm here for my portrait. I said, I'm the Sausage King. And they're like, oh, okay, hold on. Hey, come up here, you gotta see this, you know, so they were all having fun with it. And then my dad was telling me, oh, you goof, what are you doing this for? You always gotta be a goof, you know, blah, 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 blah. Get all together, so I'm getting ready to go. He looks at me and he's like, what about me? So we brought him, and took a couple pictures of me, and then we took a picture of him putting the crown onto my head and handing me the pork scepter. SK, the Sausage King. All-time best sausage story. I thought this was gonna be nothing about my personal life. Is this business or is this pleasure now? We talking pleasure sausage, business sausage, retail, wholesale? Could you repeat that? What's the best thing I ever did with my sausage? Greatest sausage endeavor would probably be when we attempted and did set the world record for the longest sausage in the world. Coiled the whole thing up, made it. I made the whole 80 feet without breaking it, and got in the tub. What they came up with that would work best is they had just a line of people, volunteers, and as we took it out of the bucket, somebody would take it and just step down. Somebody else would come in, take it, and step down. And there was this one guy who kept screwing up when we were holding it and when we were putting it down. And I was like, get this guy out of here, get somebody else in. We cut it 64 feet, I think 11 inches. And to get the record, it had to be cooked. So we cooked it really slowly, and I fired everybody else and said, let me turn it. So I kind of went along, and I took it upon myself to do all that, but we got it cooked. It's cooked, it was official. And then we cut it. The piece that was cooked, we auctioned off. I think the guy paid $100 for it. So that was the trickiest one probably ever made, because there was a lot to go into it. Being a man producing that type of sausage, I think would make any man envious. Where we're talking length, not girth. It's a big responsibility, and it's a burden that you have to carry. And hopefully one day my son will have the world's longest sausage himself. Got into rugby kind of by accident. I went up to school in Minnesota and then had the intentions of playing hockey. That didn't work out quite as I had hoped. And was talking to some hockey players, and they said, you know what you should try is you should play rugby. I'm like, you know, I don't know anything about the game. What is it? And just come on out. So I went out and immediately fell in love with it and played all 4 years of college. And I joined the club in 1985, right after I got out of school, and played with them until 1997. I've got all kinds of rugby stories. I don't know what kind of time you got, and we'd probably, what do they call it in your business, off the record? We'd have to go off the record, but you'd have to turn off the camera on those. I'm always up for a challenge or something new, and I was still playing rugby at the time, and one of the guys that I was playing with said, yeah, I saw some ad for stuntmen. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. You learn how to, get hit by a car. You learn how to fall downstairs. You learn how to throw punches. You learn how to, get lit on fire. And when they said, we're going to do some things where you get hit by a car, I was like, oh, great. And just ran. They're like, whoa, we'll slow down. We kind of do this with camera angles and with, how we do it. You don't have to just kind of run into the car and get smashed. I'm like, well, okay. But it was kind of fun. Kind of fun. So I never shied away from anything that had to do with contact. Yeah, right now I'm 46 years old, and I've never had a cavity. Never had a cavity, and I've never broken a bone. Never broken a bone. I've torn a tendon in my foot, torn cartilage in both my knees, ligament strains, medial collateral, all of them. Popped rib cartilage probably 6 or 7 times, both sides. Tore a tendon in my wrist, dislocated a couple fingers, bruised my sternum, separated my shoulder. I mean, didn't break it. Got all kinds of spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle in my neck. Problem with some discs. Broken my nose, but it's really not bone. Fat lip. Oh, those are something. My rugby career was kind of winding down. I was 35 years old. Maybe there was something else. I don't know what I can do, but there might be something. So I told my mom one day, I said, Ma, I think I'm done. She's like, oh, good, finally, you got some sense, At 35, I said, Ma, I'm gonna reinvent myself. What's got a good sound to it? Vito, Two Fingers Fontaine, pro wrestler. When I'm out there and I'm in the ring and I'm in my own zone, it's a dance. It's a dance. You gotta think of it as a dance. And you're oblivious to everybody in the crowd, but yet you're in tune to everybody in the crowd. It's like they're all there, you see faces, you see people, but yet you don't, because everything is happening so fast, you're in a bubble. But it's a great bubble to be in. It's exciting and it's a rush. If I get hit, I want to be hit harder, and it gives me more of a rush, and it gets me going even more. It gets me excited. I know it might hurt me later, but it's kind of an adrenaline rush. Hit me again, hit me harder, and that's a good kind of pain and an adrenaline kind of pain that I like and I thrive on, and I need it in my matches. If I don't feel it, I'm not feeling that rush that I need to feel.
When he started wrestling, I says, George, when you get older, you're going to be full of aches and pains. It'll be worth it. So now I tell him, is it worth it, all that pain? Yeah, wait till you get older that you need a walker or a cane because you're hurting.
Hey, a lot of older people need walkers and canes.
Yeah, but that's a reason, but your reason was uncalled for. You didn't have to wrestle.
I had a calling. I was called.
By whom? No, his wrestling is different than the wrestling you see kids in high school play. And I can tolerate that. But your kind of wrestling, that's barbaric, picking them up, throwing them down, hitting them with a garbage can, a sink. Come on. Now, you mean to tell me every time they pick you up and throw you down, it didn't hurt?
Of course it hurt. It's fun.
How can it be fun if it hurts?
It's kind of funny when everyone's like, oh, my son, you know, he wrestles too. And I'm like, well, do they let him use chairs? And he kind of give me a little look. I'm like, well, I get to use a chair. He probably can't. So it wasn't any like researching it or going back and forth and thinking, oh, this is what I want to do. Someone mentioned I should do it. And I was like, oh, yeah, why? There's a place around here. And that was it. So within a couple days, I just went to go meet Sam, the promoter at Windy City. And, you know, walked in there and he said, hey, we'd love to have you. And I said, okay, I'm in.
I came up with the idea of starting a wrestling school because I wanted to give back to the young guys that wanted to be in pro wrestling. Very low, very low. You're a big guy, man. You should have them all the way up here. Look at me, all the way up here, and then you start falling back. When you feel the momentum going back, you slide your arm out. Okay. We train young people into the business in hopes that they leave here and go to TNA or WWE, where the big money is. I have a knack for looking at someone and saying, you should be, and you should be wearing, and I want you to walk out to the ring like this, and I'll throw it at them. And I'll say, now you go home and practice, and add to it, take away, whatever you think you're comfortable with. But when you come back, be somebody other than the person that you are. One day, a gentleman by the name of George Nautilus walked into my office, and I say gentleman because he was up in age. It wasn't like one of the 17 or 18-year-old kids that come in and say, boy, all I ever wanted to be was a pro wrestler. Here was this 35-year-old man sitting before me, balding, telling me, I want to be a pro wrestler. And I said, are you kidding? Don't worry about it. I used to play rugby, he told me. To my surprise, he did very well very quickly. And I think it was because he had the rugby background, being in athletics all his life. So he picked up wrestling pretty quick. And I think he had his first match, gosh, maybe 5, 6 months later.
Teachers' comments were always that, you know, he's got to learn to keep to himself, and he likes to entertain the whole class and things like that. So I've always been a ham, and that was the thing that really interested me was, and you know, go out there and just, you know, strut around and yell at people and, you know, be basically, you know, just a big goof. I knew I didn't have a lot of time, and I wasn't gonna, you know, how far was I really gonna get starting at 35? But I just wanted to wrestle, and so I didn't even think, I'm too old to do this. You know, I just kind of jumped right in. So I trained for 5, 6 months, whatever that is. And then I felt I was ready for my first match. Had my first match. It was great. You know, I wrestled actually in my very first match. King Kong Bundy came out as my manager. Here I am, I'm ready to go out for my match. And you know, I wanted to wear like little black trunks and be like the old time wrestlers, but here I am ready to go out there going, I felt like I was going out in my underwear. I mean, it doesn't faze me, it doesn't bother me at all, but I just felt like, oh my God, I'm going out there half naked, like I'm just running out there in my underwear. So I went out there, had the match, nervous as hell, tried not to show it, and had the match, came great. Came back in the locker room, Mike Ratchner said, hey, you know, it was great, you got a good future. A couple weeks later, I'm at practice with the Polish Crippler, who was about 6'7", 290. And we were working on some moves, and I wanted to learn how to take a backdrop. And me doing that, I kind of did it wrong and ended up pretty much coming straight down on my head. And immediately was down and out. And a couple days later, I was trying to work out, and I noticed I had no strength in my left arm. So I went and found out I had a pinched nerve, took MRIs, and he's like, you got a lot of problems with your neck, which were from the years of playing rugby. A year and a half it took, almost 2 years. And I started getting the strength back, so I started working out again, and I told Sam, you know, I'm gonna give it a go, because I didn't finish what I started, and I had one match, and I was nervous as hell, and I didn't even get to, you know, do what I wanted to do. The old school stuff is, you know, be a character. I don't want to go out there as George. You know, that's not really that much fun. But to go out there as Vito, I can think of all kinds of things that Vito would do that I wouldn't, even though there's a lot of Vito in me. You got, you know, free license to to do stuff and say stuff that you wouldn't normally, do. Come out and let them know that, let the fans know right away if they're gonna boo you or cheer you. Now there's too much of a gray area, so you wanna come out, you wanna get those people booing, so this way they boo you more, that means they're gonna cheer for him more, and it just creates better tension in the match. Some kid, when I was a bad guy, some kid got a sign, with your name on it, or with the other guy's name on it. You go up to him and you start yelling, you grab the sign and you rip it in half. It's mean to do to a kid, but as a bad guy, it's the perfect classic thing to do, because the kid's gonna remember that, he's gonna be mad, and, it's great for the, for the show. That's the old kind of way, is the good and the evil, and, let it be known right off the bat, and you don't have to kill each other. You kind of tell a story with your match. You let the bad guy does a couple things to you, and the fans see it, or he's sneaky a couple times when the ref's not looking, and he gives you a cheap shot, and so all the kids are yelling then at the ref to watch him, and then he is watching, and the guy's not doing anything wrong, and, it just creates the whole tension in the match. Sam, basically, when I joined, he's Italian. He liked the fact that I was Italian. He's always loved to do the mafia, whole entourage kind of thing. So he said, hey, I'd love you to be in this thing I have called The Outfit. And I did that, and I kind of morphed the role from where I was, but at least I had a starting point. I started as Vito Two Fingers, and I continued as Vito Two Fingers. I never changed my look. I never changed my music that I came out to, because I wanted everything to stay the same, so it's kind of like brand name recognition. So this character was easy for me to play, but then I kind of morphed it into the way I kind of saw him, as opposed to just being strictly like a mafia tough guy. It's kind of like a goofy mafia tough guy, because I like comedy. The wrestlers I liked growing up were the guys that you hated or you loved, but they also kind of made you laugh. I mean, I had to have fun doing what I'm doing and like the character that I'm playing. And I've got creative license. I'm not like I'm doing a movie where this is how the character has to be. Then you do it. But here it's like, well, I could kind of be whatever I want to be. So I kind of interjected humor. And at first I was a bad guy, and bad guys aren't supposed to be that funny. You can laugh at a bad guy, but when you're laughing with the bad guy, then he's not really a bad guy anymore. Everybody, when they start wrestling, wants to be the bad guy. Everybody likes to get cheers, but it's fun to wrestle as a bad guy. As a good guy, also an old school thing is, certain guys do certain moves. Good guys don't choke. Good guys don't cheat. The bad guys do all that, and that's all the fun stuff to do. It's fun to cheat, it's fun to poke the guy in the eyes, it's fun to choke him, it's fun to yell at the ref, it's fun to yell at the kids. So everyone wants to be a bad guy. So that was fun, but when I started getting, people laughing, I could see that, I told Sam, I said, well, I think it's, I got no problem being a good guy. And so, you want to switch me over, that'll be fine. So I became a good guy. So it was a lot easier for me to do that than to constantly tell kids to shut up. And, as fun as that is, I think it was, kids like a clown. Kids like goofs. And being a goof that beat people up, was great. And I liked doing that. So the more myself came through in the character once I went to being a good guy. The name came about because there was a guy in The Outfit who was an older guy who kind of would be like a bodyguard. And Sam was a good friend of Sam's, and he had just passed away. So Sam's like, I really would like to keep his name alive somehow. And I'm like, well, what was his name? Luigi Fingers Fontaine. So I was like, well, I'll be his nephew, Two Fingers. And he's like, good, that sounds good. Vito is a good Italian name. And then I remember as a kid, Ernie Ladd was a wrestler that taped up his thumb. And he always said it was an old football injury. And then 2 minutes into the match, he's hiding from the ref and he's jamming his thumb in everybody's throat. So I thought, well, if I'm Two Fingers, I'll tape up my 2 fingers. It's been 30 years since Ernie Ladd did it, so no one's gonna really remember. So I taped up my 2 fingers and I kind of did the same shtick. I kind of hid from the ref and, would use the fingers.
Hey, 2 fingers to the throat right there. It's a chicken! Hey, it's a chicken! Are you chicken?
I've hit people with more unique things than I've been hit with. I've made sure of that.
Man, I've been hit by chairs, ladders,
tables, and I even been hit with a rubber chicken.
That chicken, let me tell you, that chicken hurts, people. He hits you with that, it wraps around the back of your bald head and hits you in the eye.
Vito hit me with a chicken when he wasn't supposed to. Oh, that left a mark for weeks and weeks.
The chicken is the most vile thing you could be hit with in the world. It stings so damn bad. It left lumps and bruises and welts.
Chickens make me sick. That's all I got to say.
The chicken came in completely by accident. By this time I was doing the hardcore style, the bare knuckles, which was like our version of hardcore wrestling. No disqualifications, you could use, you know, anything. So we were doing a show, and it was a Christmas show, and I had gone to Fantasy headquarters to get a Santa costume, because I wanted to come out in a Santa suit with a bag. And so when I went to go get this costume, I saw a rubber chicken hanging. And I'm like, that would really be hilarious, because you're putting people through tables, you're hitting them with cans, you're doing all kinds of stuff. And to hit someone with a rubber chicken, once again, my humor kind of was like, this would be really funny. All of a sudden, you know, kids loved I'd come out with a rubber chicken, and kids loved it.
He's got a solid wood door with a rubber chicken attached to it. Only 2 fingers Fontaine brings it like this.
So the chicken became a thing that I had to come out with it every time. It's like, there's no way I can go out without the chicken. And then I became the chicken guy. And then all the kids want the chicken all the time. You know, Vito, can I have your chicken? Can I have your chicken? And a lot of guys have complained about the chicken, like, oh my God, you don't want to get hit by that thing. One guy's like, I'd rather hit me with a chair, you know, hit me with anything, just not that chicken. So the chicken is also a pretty good weapon that you wouldn't even think like, oh, rubber chicken is kind of funny, but it really stings. Being hurt and beaten with a rubber chicken, I mean, who wants to be beaten with a rubber chicken? It's kind of a humiliating thing. So, you know, you're whacking some guy with a rubber chicken and he's running and you know, getting hit with it and beat up by a rubber chicken. That's good. That's good stuff. So the chicken's become, I mean, it was a big part of my success in a screwy way. You know, the chicken is more popular than Vito.
I have never been hit by that chicken, and I better not. Or George will be out of a job.
The first time George came out to wrestle, he had these little tiny pants. Old school, I guess, but I didn't know that. Everyone else had on a whole outfit, and he had on these little pants, and I thought, oh, dear. I call George the ham bone, because everywhere we go, he has to entertain the crowd, get attention, do his crazy legs. George's sense of humor is goofy, slapstick, exaggerated, Three Stooges, rubber chicken. I hate that face. And he makes it really works for the character, Vito Two Fingers, but sometimes he makes the face at home, and I say, no, don't go Vito on me.
He's kind of stomping around and yelling like that. And she's like, your face just contorts, and it's like such a horrible face. I'm like, that's perfect. It's a great feeling. You know, you got your music, and you pick your music because, you know, it gets you going. Trying to get yourself pumped up and go out there and just, you want to entertain each person out there. And you don't want to let them down, and so the adrenaline's going. You know, you come through the curtain, and it's like you're a superstar. You almost want to stop and say, this is pretty cool. You know, I just want to just keep going, but let me just take this in a little bit, you know. It's a great rush. It's a great rush. And then on the other side of that, you go out there to Battle of the Belts, you wrestle. It's a great experience. All these people cheering. You get done, you cheer. You hobble back to the dressing room, and it's over. And it's over. Then, you know, you get in your car and you drive home. You're like, man, an hour ago, all these kids were going nuts and all these people, and now I'm just like, I'm George driving home, you know, because when you get a chance to play another character, all of a sudden, you know, you're Vito and everyone's cheering and calling you Vito and yelling, and all of a sudden, here's George going home and time to make the sausage. Tonight is a tag team match. It's going to be me and Ripper Manson against Julian the Warlock and 9 Mil. Little scrawny guy we could throw around. But I just called Ripper because I wanted to hit the nearest Menards or Home Depot. I want to see if I could pick up a couple of fighting toys for tonight. So he told me that there was one not too far away from where we're going, so I'm gonna hit that one. I think it's a Menards. So we'll go there, take a walk around and see what we can find. Ripper called me and said, hey, I got a crutch that we're not using anymore. I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna bring that. Yeah, Rip. Hey, if I take Narragansett, because Harlem's so backed up, if I take Narragansett, can I take that to Oakton or somewhere? Success.
Chickens, psycho sticks, chains in tow, and we have got ourselves some hardcore action brewing up right here tonight in the Windy City, fans. Oh, man, look at that, Max Bangs with a punch in the face. Oh, Vito from behind, and in comes Rip with a big knee lift in the corner. Brotherhood style, chops him down, chops to the back. 9 Mil up and over he goes. Mackie Bangs is in there, he says, I want out of here, JT Dub, come on in. The tag has been made. You can meet with Vito 2, count him 2 fingers Fontaine, and listen to this crowd firing. Flings him across, wait a minute, reversal. Snatches him up. Oh, big windmill, down goes JT Dub, and listen to this crowd. Should I do it? Should I do it? I think I should. I do this. I do this. Wait a minute, JT Dub, springboard out. Oh my goodness, he just tackled him, a big flying tackle. He's got him, winds him up, up and over that big steel ramp, goes flying JT Dub. Mac Bang swings from behind, and he cocks him right on top of the head. Does Mac Bang. We're bringing in all the furniture. Wait a minute, he's off the table. Then go, wait a minute, no. The big man pulling through the table. The big man had an eruption. He made that table have an eruption. Oh, steel chair. Uh-oh. He ain't playing with, wait a minute. Big clothesline up the turnbuckle. Oh, for JT Dub. Kip up into a chair. Oh, my goodness. They heard that one on Halstead Street. JT Dub's trying to revive himself. Both men down. Big double chair shot. Simultaneously. Pie face to the mat. Down they go for the 1. Wait a minute. 2, 3. That's it. A big win for 2 Fingers Fontaine. And none other than Ripper Manson. Fantastic. Judas is rising. And so's Ripper Manson, Psycho, and Vito.
What was funny about the match is we didn't realize till later when 9 Mil told us that he got hit and his teeth flew out of his mouth. I mean, right before he got to him, Psycho, I think, hit the mat and they fell on the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a night it was. The night Judas was rising at St. Martha's.
Hell yeah, it hurts getting hit. Let me see. We got a chair around here. There's a chair over there. Do you want me to hit you with it? I mean, I've had arguments with people that they think it's a fake chair, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Because a lot of times you're looking for a chair, you want to hit someone with it, and it's like, where is one? Oh, here's one. Here, get out of the chair. I need that chair. Now you're gonna have a plant all over the place, or these planted chairs? No, it's a real chair. The tables are real tables. I worked a match one time. It was a 3 out of 5 table match. Went to Office Depot and said I need 5 tables. Get the tables, go to the match, set them up, and you put each other through them. They're regular tables. There's nothing fake about them. The chairs, it's a real chair. You gotta know how to swing it. You want to hit them with the right part of it. But you're hitting a guy with a steel chair. And I've been bruised, I've been concussed, and I've bruised people with them. But it's a regular chair. There's nothing fake about that. And you definitely get hurt. You get hurt with a lot of, not only in the hardcore stuff, just with the other stuff, flying over the rope, coming off the top rope. I mean, all kinds of stuff, getting hit in the face. You're getting hit. You're getting hit. It's a contact sport. And then we did a Christmas show Another year, not the year it might have been the year I came out as Santa. I went to a nursery down the street from me and was looking for a Christmas tree. It's Christmas, hardcore match, hit him with the Christmas tree. So I went shopping around for a tree, and I told the guy, I just need, just any old tree. I don't need anything great. If you got anything for like 10 that's missing a couple limbs, and he's probably thinking I'm crazy, my poor family, I'm gonna bring him home some bad Christmas tree, but I'm like, okay, I just need this, I'm gonna hit someone with it. So I just need any old tree. He's like, oh, okay, I got one then for you. You get $10. I had some tree, it was a little bent up, but put it under the ring, beating him with all kinds of stuff. And then here comes, it was about a 6 or 7 foot Christmas tree. Pull out this Christmas tree and hit him. Pine needles were all over the place, and everyone, it was hilarious. It was good. He was just like, man, the needles, he hit me and the needles went flying. I smelled like spruce for the rest of the night. The downspout incident was against the Polish crippler. So I had gone to Menards or whatever and picked up some gutters. So I got a couple of them, and beginning of match, it was really good. We're going at it. Everyone, the fans are behind us. And then we get outside the ring, and I pick up this downspout, and I hit him over the head. And the thing, crumbles. And for some reason, I wanted to hit him again. So I choke up on the thing, and when I go to hit him again, the bottom of the gutter that's open, and that metal is really sharp, clips his arm before I get a chance to hit him in the head. So he goes down, and I kind of turn to the crowd, I'm yelling and stuff, and I turn around, and he's got blood all over him. And I see like a big flap of skin hanging. I'm like, oh no. I'm just like, oh no. And I see the ref is in a panic. He's checking on him, I ask him if he's okay and what's going on. And the ref comes to me, and he's like, he's bleeding all over, we got to stop the match. And I'm like, I don't stop at nothing. And the crowd was just dead silent. They were a hot crowd, and all of a sudden they were silent. So I go over there, and I pick him up, and I put him in a headlock. And, I'm asking him, are you all right? But I can't just sit there and ask him, are you all right? There's all kinds of kids there. So I'm like, are you all right? And I gave him a punch in the head, and I couldn't, he's Polish, and I couldn't understand what he's saying. So I don't know if he's saying, stop, or I'm okay. So I get him in a headlock again, I give him another shot, and then I get him against the post, and I'm hitting him, and he's like, yeah, keep going. So, okay. So I throw him into the ring. He's got blood all over him. Soon enough, I got blood splattered on me. This flap of skin, every time he moves, is this flapping, and these kids are just like watching us like, oh my God, dead silent. We're going on in the match, keep going. I go to throw him off the ropes, and he goes off the rope, hits the rope, and I'm expecting him to come back. I was gonna kick him. He hits the rope, and all of a sudden you hear this big clunk. The top rope snapped. He falls out of the ring backwards, his feet go over his head. I'm just sitting in the middle of the ring like, oh, this poor guy. So he goes out of the ring, and I get off out of the ring. I go to, I'm like, it's a no DQ match, so I could pin him anywhere, so I just go to pin him on the floor. Even though I was the good guy and the favorite, nobody was cheering for me, because here's this guy bleeding all over, and I'm still beating him up. So it's kind of like hard to get behind me when this is all happening. So we get through the thing, and we finish the match. And then he looked at me and goes, well, I guess we're even for me dropping you on your head. And I'm like, well, not really, because that's just a cut, and that's going to heal. My neck is still screwed up. So I still never said that we were even.
Tonight, so that'll be fun. Get a couple little shots in. They're all on me. They want me to take out the boss, so we'll see what happens.
He is the legendary Chicago Pro Wrestling. Please welcome to the ring, the man with the rubber chicken, Two Fingers Fontaine!
Oh, PCW! We're here at PCW tonight. From Oak Lawn Community Center, and here he comes, the big man. That's right, Chicago's own Godzilla, Vito Two Fingers Fontaine. He looms ominously over the skyline in a windy city, and here he is at a PCW. But look at that, look at these fans. They don't know what to make of him. Look at this guy. They've never seen anybody that's 6'6" here at oh my God, at an event like this. Look at this guy. He's 6'6", he's Italian, he's pissed off, and he's brandishing a rubber chicken in a chair. Go figure. We're in for some fun here tonight. Look at these fans. They have never seen anything like this, I guarantee you. So look at this. Butcher opening up with some fists. Uh-oh, and that's no way to start with the Mama Lou. No time to even take off that bloody meat coat. Two Fingers Fontaine's gonna rip your head off. Wait a minute, wait a minute. He shoved him right into that steel chair. We didn't even see that get set up. Oh, man. Lunge and a miss, but not the steel chair. He was directly face first into that steel chair. What a party, what a fist fight. Two Fingers Fontaine ruling the roost. Oh, man. Fontaine, one of the most skilled cheaters in Chicago, and now he's been handcuffed to the side of the ropes. He just cut up the rubber chicken. What a freak, what a sadist, what a massacre of poultry. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. Son of Svengoolie, eat your heart out. This guy's a maniac, and here we thought Vito Two Fingers Fontaine had seen it all. Two Fingers Fontaine behind that ladder. Butcher lies in wait. Wait! And Two Fingers thrusts it face first. Ladder and down goes the Butcher. He's building himself a table. Snatches him up. Aye, aye, aye. Power bomb pending. Oh my God, power bomb. Power bomb right through the table. Power bomb through the table. What a match, what action. And there's thumbtack. It was a thumbtack-filled table. Talk about a Bismarck. Talk about a wrestling party. Talk about Two Fingers Fontaine. They did the deserting right into those steel thumbtacks. Look at this. Ow, Chihuahua, big elbow, add an insult to injury, and then a pelvic thrust. Why did we need to see that? Oh, my goodness, the pain, the passion, and all of the above. Oh, man, clocks him to the top of the head. Fans loving every minute of it. Oh, man, Two Fingers Fontaine back down again right by them thumbtacks. Damn, wait a minute, he's trying to set him up for that. Uh-oh. He reminds me of somebody laying on that table. The Frankenstein monster, maybe? Look at that guy. They did that. He's 6'6". P.L. Myers is in there. P.L. Myers gets speared. P.L. Myers gets speared by the Butcher. We thought he was going for Vito Two Fingers, and Vito's got the ref. And the ref goes through the door. This is off the chain. We're doing whatever we want. Two Fingers. This is the house that he built. And he's really got Vito Two Fingers Fontaine set up. No referee to be had. The referee's still out. Nonetheless, the Butcher's up to the top. Oh! What? What? Did he stop himself short? What was that? I thought he was going to come crashing down. Here we go. Oh, man, he hit him hard that time. He hit him hard that time, and there we go. And this referee, I think, is just rolling out because, wait, he's up. The referee's 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute, you gotta be kidding me.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner of the hardcore match, the Butcher. Where's my chicken?
Wow, I'm telling you, who'd have thunk it right here tonight? The Butcher gets a big win. I'm telling you, this has just put the Butcher on the map in Chicago wrestling.
Referee.
You are the best, what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, I can't give him the stick.
Look at that.
You want to get a second last? Oh, yeah, that's the point. I'm not taking him out. I used to always...
Do I have any in?
Yeah, a couple of you.
Yeah, a couple.
Tap dancing for us.
I had a punch in my ass, I know, for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I gotta get on it, so that's why I slammed it, dropped it all. How'd the back of your head get cut?
My head's cut.
God, I messed up my hair, man. What the hell did you do?
I picked up all these at, oh yeah.
You know, it must be...
What's the matter with you? Trying to kill me?
Oh, it was great.
I had a lot of fun.
It's something, you know, that's kind of like 9 months in the making. I mean, ever since I started working there, we said we wanted to do it, and it's cool. I'm happy it went through. I'm really happy.
I enjoy doing matches like that, more sort of like wrestling maneuvers and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, pick up something, hit me with it, pick up something, hit him.
And you can see how much the crowd loves it. I mean, they love stuff like this, you know, all the attacks and all the craziness.
Yeah.
God, it was just.
And don't the doors just make a great sound when you go through it?
How many doors did you guys go through?
Well, I went through 2, he went through 1, the ref went through 1, and PL went through 1. So we used 5 doors.
5 doors.
Yeah.
All one night's work.
Yep.
And you can see too, it's not a fake door. He went off the first time and the thing didn't break, and I was like, go up again, go one rung higher, and and he did, and it went through. And did you hear the pop when he went through on that?
And then when PL went through, they popped. When Lou went through, they popped.
Because they were against me the whole match. And when he put PL through, they were butcher, and they were against me. But the minute I put the ref through, you're Vito, because the ref got it, Everyone always loves to see the ref get it.
Thank you.
I got involved with Windy City by watching Monday Night Raw one night, and I saw the commercial. Before you work, you got to go to school. And I was like, oh. Sam DeCero has a real eye for talent, and if you're good, he'll put you out there in the first month. And Two Fingers Fontaine was probably there training for a month or 2, and boom, he's out working matches. He's just so physical and his facial expressions, and he's just so, he draws the crowd in, and the way he works the crowd, and he gets everybody involved, and the kids love him. He's like a big, lovable cartoon character, so he's easy to call. He's easy to call his matches. He's kind of a 6'6", crazy Italian everyman, and the fans just seem to love him. He started out as a great rule breaker, a great bad guy, but the trouble was, when he'd come out there, he was so damned entertaining, the fans would cheer him anyways after a while.
Julian the Warlock was probably my biggest nemesis, because we had a feud that lasted about a year and a half. And we went back and forth a lot. We had a lot of matches together, and a lot of really good matches, and the fans really took to our matches.
Julian and Vito, there's an obvious chemistry there. When you put JTW in there against Two Fingers Fontaine, who's such a character, you've got kind of a fan, with JTW, he's kind of a fan favorite and the fans want to like him, but the way he gets about his matches and the way he attacks people and fights, the fans end up booing him, and they end up embracing Two Fingers Fontaine. So they're almost like they're just a catalyst to each other's own explosion, which is kind of cool.
He's calling to the fans, and they get it.
JTW, it stands for Julian the Warlock. He started off as sort of a pretty boy, a fan favorite, like a vampire gimmick. The girls love him. He had all these vampire groupie fans follow him around. As a play-by-play guy, they really give me something to talk about because they're both such bigger-than-life characters. The chicken is just, I'll tell you this, it's a gag, it's funny, but guess what? On the downside, they hurt. Okay, I've been whacked by him before, by Vito, this big 6'6" dude whipping you with a rubber chicken, and I'm telling you, they hurt. And the kids are not bringing them at ringside. It's kind of a Chicago phenomenon, if I must say so.
I love waffling them in the head with one of them real thick Nautilus sausage trays.
Got right back up and down goes Vito. I heard that! I heard that!
First one he hit me with, I saw lights, stars. I mean, I was in La La Land.
The first time I wrestled Vito, you know what, actually, I was thinking about this after the last time I wrestled Vito, and I do believe it was a barroom brawl at Bourbon Street, and I could be wrong, but I think that was the first one that at least I can remember. But after getting hit in the head as many times by Vito as I have, it's kind of hard to remember. But yeah, man, I mean, he took me, you know, over the guardrail. I remember getting launched into about the 3rd or 4th row, man, and then I want to say that was actually the time that we got in an immense amount of heat on the internet from other promotions, man, from our own boss, Sam DeCero. Because right after that spot, actually, we got down on the floor and, you know, I low-blowed him and took over with the chair. And he's selling, he turns around, man, and, you know, what it looked like to everybody else, you know, except to me and Vito, was that he was about to fall on top of a baby carriage or a stroller that was at the show. But George was totally in control, man, and, you know, I mean, so was I, and everything was fine. We seen it, we knew about it, you know, but everybody else was like, oh my God, these guys are going crazy, because nobody knew we were going in the crowd. You know, I'm the type of wrestler that, you know, okay, so tell me what I can't do. No, really, I want to know, you know, and then I'm going to go and do it, you know. So it's like, hey, man, you know, Sam don't want us to go out in the crowd. Chuck me into the 4th row, you know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, we you know, took a bunch of heat for that. And then I remember right after that, I threw Vito into a corner booth and trashed 6 full beers and an appetizer off some people. And I promised to pay for it, actually, mid-match. I was like, I owe you guys a round. And I went back to, you know, kicking George in the teeth. And then, yeah, I don't think I ever actually bought him that round. And with Vito, for me, it's always, you know, all right, what can I have him do to me? You know, because he is so over, man, and he's just such a great guy personally and professionally. I respect the hell out of him to where he's one of those guys you want to kick your own ass for, you know? Well, I credit Vito with, you know, making me and my career, you know, everything that it was. You know, and the more you love somebody in this business, the harder you hit them, or the harder you want to be hit by them. And, you know, I mean, Vito, like I said, man, George is such a great guy that, you know, me not having a father in life, you know, if I ever had to pick a man, you know what I'm saying, that would be the idea. I mean, you know, he's it, man, you know, and we just, we always loved beating, you know, on each other, you know, and it was just connection from the start, man, you know, and when somebody don't come back to the locker room crying and whining about it, you know, and says, oh, man, I wish you would have hit me harder here, it's like, all right, I kind of like you, a little crazy in the head, I like that about you, you know, because that's, you know, that's me. I don't even remember when the first time I actually seen the chicken was. All I know is that the first time I got hit with the chicken, I realized how not so funny it was. Because, yeah, some bitch hurts. Well, much like with my concussions, I stopped counting at 11, so we'll just go with the same for the chicken. I don't think it's just wrestling, man. I think, you know, he's a little loopy to begin with, you know, in life, man. And not to say that we all aren't, but, you know, with guys like me and George, we kind of take it to the next level and make it fun. But, yeah, I mean, for him to do what he does, you know, especially sometimes I think, like I said, not intentionally, is an amazing thing in this business, man, because people try so hard and can't cut it even, you know, a third of what he can. The hardest he's ever hit me? Wow, that's a really good question, man. Wow, I bumped right on my head, and it was one of those where I was like, oh shit, this is the finish of the match, and I can't see. But we've both been like, you know, screw the hand up, give me the concussion, man, you know, because we both, you know, agreed that nobody should ever come to one of our matches and say that pro wrestling's fake.
You guys ready to do a little shopping? We'll get, if they want to hit me in the head, don't worry. It's just like warming up. These are too decorative, too foofy.
Is our selection of garbage cans good enough?
Looking good so far. I like this too. Big, loud stuff that's not too expensive. 23 bucks.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Thank God I'm retiring. Here, something's, you know, out of the ordinary. I've had a bad experience with those. Bad experience. This is the Polish triplet. If I find any like defects in these, are they returnable? The receipt? If there's like a dent in it that I find later on, or.
I love you. Thank you.
Chicken, the bare knuckles champion of Windy City Pro Wrestling, making his way into Toyota Park on this hot summer night, and there he is, Chicago's own, the Sicilian Godzilla, Vito 2, count him 2, Fingers Fontaine. Making his way down that steel ramp, here he comes. Am I evil? Yes, I am. JT Dove, perhaps one of the most popular Chicago superstars, and crawls across the ring, does JT Dove. Fanning this crowd Glad to be at Toyota Park on a hot summer night. Two Fingers Fontaine finally sets down his good friend. I've heard on good authority he calls that chicken Purdue. I don't know why, but he does. Staring each other down with a shove. Winds up with a punch. Here we go, opening up right here at Toyota Park in front of God, Sam DeCero, and everybody. JT Dub whacks him across the ring. Clothesline up and over goes JT Dub at the hands of Vito 2, count him, Two Fingers Fontaine. Snatches him up, big slam, down goes JT Dub. Vito says, how about that? Two Fingers Fontaine trying to fight off this entourage. From the outs, from the inside, JTW flies to the floor. He took a chair from some fan and whacks it across the back of Two Fingers. He's got himself a wash tub. He's got himself a couple chairs. Somebody went shopping at Home Depot before the night's event. Uh-oh. Do you hear me, fans at ringside? I think they heard him. Get out of the way. That guy didn't get out of the way. That's what happens when you try and get too close to pro sports. Flings the chair right into the face of Two Fingers Fontaine. Two Fingers Fontaine says, I've had enough. He's getting back in this thing if he can. Wait a minute. Flings him up and over the steel rail. Out into that hard, hard plastic floor. We're taking it to the streets, people. And this ain't no Doobie Brothers. Face first with the chair. Aha! Real garbage. You gotta love mud, guts, and beer in the Windy City. Wait a minute. Here comes Mac Bangs, and down he goes for his trouble. Drops an elbow right on that floor. And Two Fingers has taken over Chicago style. Drags him in, up and over the steel rail. We're gonna take this thing back into the center of the ring. JT Dub into the steel. Two Fingers to the throat. JT Dub, that's the wrong place to walk, my friend. Oh, ow! Wait a minute! Through the table! Through the table! And Two Fingers Fontaine is like a conquering king on the ring apron. He popped the top of Two Fingers Fontaine. Oh my goodness! A chair! No, it's a Sicilian toothbrush! The Sicilian toothbrush! He's gonna gouge his eyes out with the Sicilian toothbrush! He's gonna cut his face right here tonight! Oh, what a savage thing. What an implement of destruction. Wait a minute! From behind with a sheet pan for JT. And they're holding him! They're holding him on the table! This is heinous! JT Dub perched. He's gonna fly. Ay, ay, ay. Right through the table on Two Fingers Fontaine. Unbelievable. I don't know. It's a bare knuckles match. We're throwing the rules out the window, but come on. This is just a bit much. Two Fingers Fontaine getting snatched up by the back of the hair. Wait a minute. Looks like JT Dub tore something. JT Dub, I think, tore something in his hip. Oh, he's got him. He's got him with that claw. Down he goes right here. Two Fingers for the one, the two. Only a two. Ow! Right in the guts. Oh! Right in the chin. Cut him up with the chin with that hard, sharp steel. Kip up into a sink. Kip up into the kitchen sink. And this is 1, 2. That's it. A 1, 2, 3. A big win for Two. Got him Two Fingers Fontaine right here at Toyota Park. Are you chicken or are you kitchen sink? Whatever it takes to keep that bare knuckle strap around the toughest man in Chicago. None other than our very own Vito 2, count him, Two Fingers Fontaine from the Windy City, Chicago, right here, Toyota Park. This is Richard T. Sid for Windy City Pro Wrestling. And wait a minute. Two Fingers Fontaine has taken that sink home as a souvenir. And all these fans are waving their chickens in reverence to, yes, none other than the Chicago original Vito Two Fingers Fontaine.
John
That's it. Where's he at? Locker room? This can go with.
I got so scared I thought I'd fucking impale myself. I wanted it to be landed right on the fucking. That's the post from the fucking from the legs on the table, dude. Fucking popped up. I was like, oh my god, I have no idea.
Might be two. Might be if I fall down, feet and I turn. Yep. If I'm hanging, I start moving back.
No, nothing. Wow.
Just like a raspberry.
I really thought.
You never know.
I thought I impaled myself.
You never know where you're gonna land or what's gonna happen. They popped it for the board with the nails.
Yeah, dude. It worked it for a second.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started, you know what I'm saying, like going crazy. I didn't really get the fucking color I wanted.
You had some good color. You heard the minute you get. I got a knot on my head.
Yeah. I fucking spanked that shit. Yeah, you were bleeding out for a minute.
It was right there.
There it is.
Oh, that's the last words you're gonna get of me doing this.
It almost makes two of us. Almost.
Yeah, wrestling's fake.
That's all that to my ass. That's going through. Is that my blood or yours? What the fuck did you do? What the fuck was that off of?
Wash that off. Put that shit on there. I got a couple Band-Aids.
See how he takes care of me?
I'm gonna fucking cut your hand to shit, but then I'm gonna patch it up for you and give you painkillers.
You alright, baby? I'm a ham at heart, so I'm gonna find a stage somewhere. Somebody's gonna let me be on a stage. I'm in a band now, I play music, so I'm on a whole nother stage. Man, we're doing just all 70s classic hard rock. We do a glam set, which sends people running for the exits, and it's a good time. We're playing all the stuff that we grew up listening to and having a good time with that, you know. Toyota Park was a great way to go out. It was a big event. It was a great venue, biggest venue I had ever wrestled at. I felt pretty good. I was at peace with my decision for it to be the last match, but, you know, getting out of bed also reinforces that decision of, yeah, probably a good time to stop. Getting the snowplow, Al Snow's finishing move, helped me realize that it might be a good time to retire a little sooner than I anticipated. Yeah, I was really excited that when I brought it to Sam about wrestling Julian the Warlock, and he agreed to it. I was really happy about that because we'd gone back a long way. We, you know, previous years we've been voted feud of the year, and we had some just great matches that everybody really enjoyed. People wanted to see it again, you know, one more time. Julian, going in, he knew about me, I knew about him, and it was pretty much a free-for-all. I had to worry about to beat him up enough because he'd be pissed at me if I didn't. You hit him with everything else and he doesn't go down, you know, what's the old saying? You hit him with everything but the kitchen sink. So I figured, let me bring the kitchen sink. He signed the sink. I've got the sink. I want to mount it somewhere and put it up. It's a little hard to read because it's right in the crinkle of his head. But it was something about, you know, thanks for all the matches and the great memories and the great times that we had in the ring together.
George's retirement is kind of hard to think about, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, like I said, I credit him for making me. Toyota Park was a blowout, don't get me wrong, you know, but I'm never going to be satisfied with my performance for him, you know, and as honored as I was, you know, for that phone call telling me, you know, hey, you're it, kid, you know, and this is going to be it, you know, it was crushing. And it didn't really hit me until about 48 hours after, you know, and then I was a fucking mess.
I always think about it, and would I like to wrestle again? Yeah, but it was the perfect setup, perfect match, and I didn't want to just be kind of playing out the string. It was a great match. We finished on a high note, Toyota Park. So That's it. I don't want to wrestle and be cheating the fans and cheating myself and watching it going, you know, what am I doing? It's not coming off. The Polish crippler comes in for sandwiches all the time, and then he comes in and my mom says, "You're the Polish crippler." And he's like, "Yeah, I messed up your son's neck, but look what he did to my arm," you know. Dante hasn't really picked up his own persona yet, but he's tooling around with some different moves and things, so he's developing some stuff. I know he wants to be a good guy. He doesn't like the bad guys, and usually the kids 7, 8 years old, they all, you know, they like the good guys. So Dante's most dangerous move is called the scribble. He came up with it when he was about 3 years old, 3 or 4. And it's basically just making a fist and just rubbing it all over your face and your nose, your eyes, your ears, your head. It's a pretty good move for a 3-year-old to come up with, and he likes to use that one. He goes to that one when he's in trouble. When Dante looks back at it, I would want him to take from it that, you know, no matter what age you are, no matter what level you are, even if you've never done anything, try and do it. You look back and say, hey, well, you know what? My dad was 35 and he jumped in and did it. I can do it too, whether it's, you know, wrestling, or playing a guitar, or taking on a new job, or doing whatever. Don't be afraid of taking a chance, and if you really kind of have an idea you want to do something, just try and do it. It was great because I like to be athletic. I was always into sports and athletics, and I got to do that. And at the same time, I got to be a big ham, you know, on a stage in front of a lot of people. So as my wife likes to call me a ham bone, I could be an athlete still, and I could fulfill my ham bone dream. What my mom says about my retirement is, it's about time. You know, you should be done being stupid.
You gotta find your pathology. Turn your darkness kinetic, clean your inner ecology. There's an unresolved fury, a trick of the mind gone bad. We become the judge and jury. It's our blueprint,